Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Basic Cybersecurity Awareness Review Lecture. In this review lecture, all 11 of the topics that have been covered thus far in this course will be reviewed. And you will also be able to do a quiz. It's more of a test. It's a bit longer than the quizzes we have been doing thus far. Okay, so what is cybersecurity? Well, first of all, it's a holistic approach. Holistic meaning it's comprehensive. We're looking at various parts of an organization. For example, we're looking at the technology. What devices are there? What software is on those devices? What encryption or firewalls have been put in place? We're looking at processes. For example, if I have risk assessment, are risk assessments being done regularly? Are incident response plans, are they established? We're looking at human factors. For example, have the employees been trained on security awareness? Have they been trained on, for example, phishing attempts? Uh, all of these things have to be taken into account, and we're using this approach to prevent our data on our computer systems and networks from being stolen or damaged in some way. So we're preventing that from happening in the first place. But if we're unable to prevent it, we're also in cybersecurity also includes ensuring resilient integrity, where we have so if bad things do happen to our data, the company, it's not the end of the world. The company can still bounce back. They can respond to that cyber attack effectively, and operations can resume smoothly. Okay, and so it ensures business continuity. In addition, cybersecurity maintains trust. Well, for example, if a partner company has data within your company, and that data is, let's say, sensitive, and if anything happens to that data, that's going to harm your company's reputation because you were not able to look after it properly. So it's going to cause your partners to lose faith in you, essentially. And everyone in cybersecurity plays a role. For example, if a random employee if they get an email with a suspicious link and they click on that link, then there's a good chance that that computer of that employee may be infected with malware. So, and then, there's only so much the IT staff can do. They can put procedures in place, standards, and the infrastructure, but yeah, everyone has to be trained. Everyone plays a role in it. It's not just one department's responsibility. Okay, here are some common cybersecurity threats that you may face in a business environment. Phishing. Phishing is basically a fraudulent attempt to steal your info by pretending to be someone you trust. For example, you may get an email from someone pretending to be your bank, and the bank says they send you a link saying that you have to update your account information right now. But as soon as you click on that link and update your info is actually harvested by them. So it's basically a way to trick you into giving sensitive info. Some of the ways you can prevent this is, first of all, verify the sender's email address. For example, if it's an email address you don't recognize, that's a red flag. Look for it could be an email address that's close to something you do recognize, but examine the email address carefully. It might have one letter being changed, for example. Even if it is an email that you do recognize, if it happens to be a random, unexpected email with a link or an attachment, then still verify the sender's email. Try calling them to see if the email is genuine. Look for typos. A lot of phishing emails tend to have grammatical errors in them. So if you get a random, unexpected email from an address you don't recognize, it's full of typos, it has a link or an attachment, yeah, don't click on those links. Don't download anything because those attachments may have malware on them. Malware is basically malicious software that's designed to steal your data or harm your device in some way. So some of the ways you can prevent malware is, for example, only download from trusted sources such as official websites or official app stores. Try using a reputable ad blocker because a lot of random pop-up ads may have malware on them or they may be running malicious scripts in the background, and a reputable ad blocker can help prevent that from happening. Uh, Keyword reputable. So make sure you do some research on it. Look for recommendations or reviews from trusted sources such as tech websites. And also, don't ignore any software updates, OS updates, because these updates are often just security patches. Because cybersecurity is a very dynamic field, new threats are coming out all the time, so new defenses have to be made for those threats, and updates are how you get those. Social engineering. I mentioned phishing earlier. Phishing is actually a type of social engineering. Social engineering is basically manipulating you to giving sensitive data. There's many different social engineering tactics. They can include impersonation. I mentioned that with the phishing email. They pretend to be someone you trust. They could have baiting. For example, if you click on this link, you'll get $1 million or something. It includes pretexting often. Pretexting is basically when the social engineer comes up with a convincing backstory for themselves. But oftentimes these backstories tend to have holes in them. So try to question the story if you notice any inconsistencies. And if an offer sounds too good, so good you allegedly can't refuse it, you should still refuse it. All right. Okay, password management. So first thing, you should make your passwords longer or more complicated. For example, use a combination of uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, or special characters. Even if you can't do all of these, still try to do some of them if possible. And avoid easily guessable information like your birthday, for example. And make passwords unique for each account, because that prevents a single point of failure. If someone compromised one of your passwords and that password happens to be the same as many of your other accounts, then those accounts can also be compromised much more easily. Try to use multi-factor authentication, such as two-factor authentication. For if you have two-factor authentication enabled, you might get a temporary code and sent to your phone, for example. Then if the attacker doesn't have your phone on hand, that greatly reduces the chances of them being able to get into your account. So this significantly enhances protection. Secure browsing habits. First of all, always look for the words HTTPS on your URL. The S stands for secure, and that's a lot more secure than just regular HTTP. Look for a lock icon in your URL as well. Basically, these things mean that that website has been certified by a trusted third party, and it's a lot more. You can trust it a lot more than you can a random HTTP site. Keep your browser and antivirus software and just other software updated, because I mentioned in the previous slides, cybersecurity dynamic field, new threats, new defenses coming out all the time. Updates are how you get these defenses. Be cautious of public Wi-Fi, because public Wi-Fi tends to be less secure than your private Wi-Fi's or your work Wi-Fi. So if you do use a public Wi-Fi, try using a VPN if you have one, and try to avoid entering any sensitive information while you're using public Wi-Fi. Avoid sketchy looking websites. So basically, a website that looks like it's from the 90s or something. It's best not to trust it unless you know for a fact it can be trusted. Email security. So recognize phishing emails. If it's a random address you don't recognize, it's full of typos, and if they say you have to click on this link right away, it sounds very urgent. That's should raise some red flags. Try verifying the email sender's authenticity. If check what the address is. Is it one that you recognize? Even if it's one that you do recognize, try verifying it anyways by, calling that person to see if the email is genuine. And if you do see a very sketchy looking email, don't click on any links or attachments they might send. Device security. Okay, for example, on your devices, try using pins, passcodes, or even biometrics. Passcodes, pins are just passwords. Biometrics, they use your unique physical characteristics like your fingerprints. Try using multi-factor authentication, such as two-factor authentication. Download only from trusted sources. And definitely ensure you have defenses in place, such as antivirus, firewalls. And if you with the antivirus, make sure you have regularly scheduled scans. But these things basically work in the background to try and prevent malicious software from infecting your computer, and try to remove them if they do find them, or make you aware. Okay, physical security. Well, you have to protect your devices from theft. So be aware of your surroundings at all times. Don't just sit on a public bench and leave your phone on that bench and look away, because that can greatly increase the risk of someone stealing that device. Uh, keep all your devices in a secure location when you're not using them. Secure your workstation. So, for example, if you're at work, you're using the computer and you have to get up and go for a break, make sure you log out first, and ensure you have automatic screen locks in place. So this is to prevent the next person from being able to access your account. And if a device is stolen, make sure you report it to the IT staff and the relevant authorities as promptly as you can, so they can investigate the issue. For example, the IT staff can assess the possible damage that can come from it. They can initiate remote wipes if possible, and they can basically take steps to minimize the damage. Uh, and also, make if your device is stolen and that device has any accounts saved information on that device, make sure you change your passwords for those accounts when you can. And try to remotely track or remotely wipe that device if possible. Okay, data handling and privacy. So, examples of confidential personal data, it could be, for example, employee SIN numbers. You could have confidential company information like their future marketing plans. So, different information should be classified according to their sensitivity. You could have public information such as product descriptions. You could have more sensitive information such as internal communication memos. You could have really sensitive information such as financial reports. So in terms of that's basically the higher ups of a company will typically use the sensitivity of each data to make informed decisions. Uh, Secure storage and encryption. So, data has to be securely stored and encrypted, or maybe even password protected. That encryption is basically, for example, taking human readable text and turning it into gibberish so nobody can get at it. Uh, Authentication authorization. Authentication, basically login information. Authorization is what you can do on that account when you're in it. For example, not every employee of a company should have access to financial details of the company. So different employees should be, that they should have their own authorization level based on their role in the company. These are called access controls. Regular auditing. So basically, it's like a security camera. We're checking the logs to see if who accessed what at what times. So all of these things should be regularly checked, audited. But in terms of regular employees, make sure you understand what personal data is and what your role is in protecting that data. Try to familiarize yourself with regulations such as or legislations such as the PIPA Act of in Alberta. Um, you try to that's an act that's comprehensive. It defines what personal information is, how you can collect it, when you can collect it, and what you can do with it. As an employee, you should definitely, if you don't do that, definitely be aware of your own company's, data handling procedures, standards, and what your role is in that. Social media awareness. So always consider who your target audience is. So you gotta adjust your profile visibility, your privacy settings. For example, if you're on Facebook and you make an inappropriate post, then and that post was only intended for your close friends, but you didn't check the privacy settings on it, and it's viewable by your colleagues, supervisors. That couldn't potentially get you in trouble. Um, Manage your friend requests. If you get a request for a friend, and let's say even if it's someone you do recognize, try to at least click on their profile, see what's on their profile. See if you have any mutual friendships or connections with them. Maybe reach out to those connections to see who this person is. If this is their legitimate account or not. uh, Also, avoid sharing sensitive information online in general, because cyber attackers will that the first step in a cyber attack is often information gathering, and if you have public posts that have sensitive company information, that is a great help to the cyber attacker. So don't do that. And regularly review your privacy settings and update them if necessary. Incident reporting. This is how you can help stop making bad things from getting worse. So, here are examples of incidents you will want to report right away. Suspicious emails. So, emails that look like they're a phishing attack. Malware infections. Yeah, that's definitely an incident. Just so you know, there is this thing called lateral movement. So malware doesn't just sit on one computer; it can spread to other computers. Lost or stolen items, unauthorized access. These are some of the incidents that you will definitely want to report. And your company might have specific channels through which you can report. They might have specific emails you send it to. They might have hotlines that you can contact. So some signs you want to look for is unusual system behavior. So things like random pop-up ads, systems slowing down, your computer being slower than usual. These are signs that may have been compromised. uh, Unexpected data transfers. So, for example, you go to a website and things start randomly downloading, or you notice something uploading. That's definitely a cause for concern. Uh, some of the other things you might look for are, unauthorized access attempts. So if you get an email saying that the your account was an attempt was made to access your account, that is also an incident that you want to report. And you want to report these things as fast as possible. Give so the IT team, the cybersecurity team can investigate and take steps to prevent something worse from happening. Okay, remote work security. First of all, try to use a VPN for remote access, because one of the things that VPNs can do is offer security features, such as making an encrypted tunnel through which a connection is made from your remote device. Don't just work from a public Wi-Fi, for example. uh, and you want to properly handle work related documents at home. So try to designate a specific area of the home to use as your workplace. And if anything work related, make sure it's stored there. Don't just leave random documents lying around where anybody can get at them. Don't work in public, because you'd want to avoid any sensitive information leaking. And one of the ways you can do that is, having a specific place where you work at where nobody can interfere. Uh, Safely storing and disposing of any physical documents. So, I mentioned this before, securely storing it. Don't just leave it lying around. Disposing of it, secure. One of the ways you can securely dispose of it is by using a shredder. So, if anyone digs through your recycling bin, if the document is already shredded, the chances of them getting any useful information out of it is reduced compared to the full paper crumpled up and thrown in. All right.